Okay guys, this is another theory of learning, the operant conditioning theory, still from the school of thought we call the behaviorist school of thought, that emphasize stimulus and learning, behavior by responding to stimulus in the environment, right? Learning, everything's about learning. So that our behavior is our response to those stimulus. So whereas classical conditioning of Ivan Pavlov introduced a learning that occurred when we learn to associate, that is learning by association, right? When we learn to associate a stimulus to another stimulus or a natural stimulus that normally we respond to, right? This is learning by association, right? You understand that the person is behaving and continued without knowing that he's doing something. But in operant conditioning, the behavior takes place. It is the consequences or the consequence of that behavior that result to learning, right? Very important. Whereas in classical conditioning, the behavior is passive. In operant, the behavior is active. The organism is an active learner, where the other person is in classical conditioning is a passive learner, right? Whereas in the other classical conditioning, the learning and the behavior takes place at the same time. Whereas in operant conditioning, there is a behavior that must take place before the consequences reason to learning to take place. So what are we saying, right? Operant conditioning was built by B.F. Skinner in 1963, but his work was influenced heavily by the law of effect as produced or propounded by Edward Leonard Thorndike in 1906. 1906, 1911, yeah, 1911 or 1906. He has these two works there. So in 1911, E.L. Thorndike came up with this law of effect when he put a rat in a cage. So the rat will always want to run away, look for a way. He saw a button, he pressed it, nothing, he couldn't go. He looked for the other way around. He tried the other way, he could go, he rushed out. He came, they brought him back, the rat back. He pushed the other one, nothing. The one he pushed before, he pushed again, there was a way, he went. So this dog learned to just go straight to that place, the one that opens up. This is how the law of effect was propounded. The law states that the consequences of a behavior determines learning. The consequences of behavior, let me use the word, the consequences of behavior, the consequences of a behavior determines the repeatedness of that behavior. What am I trying to say? According to operant conditioning theory, learning takes place through what? Trial and error. When I mean trial and error, that's another name for instrumental learning or this operant conditioning. So learning takes place due to reward and punishment. Please, very important, that learning is by reward or punishment. So if you behave and the consequences of that behavior is rewarding, well, you repeat again. If you acted and the consequences is punishment, like a child that touched a hot pot, right? The consequences is negative, that's a punishment, you are punished. There is tendency, you will not react again. There is a local parlance that say, if the road is good, we travel it again, right? Okay. So, depending on the reward or punishment, that is instrumental learning or operant condition learning or trial and error learning. That's what we call it. The person is an active learner. So in this place, B.F. Skinner also put his own, like a pigeon, or yes, a pigeon in a box, and we call it the Skinner box. So there is a green light, there is a red light. So it happened that when the pigeon pecks the red light, no food comes out. Pegs again, the yellow light, no food. Pegs the green light, a pellet of food comes out and he eats. And he pegs the other ones, no food. Pegs the green one again, food comes out. You understand that this behavior is the one that is being reinforced. That food coming out is a reinforcement, encouraging the child. What happens? The pigeon will learn a new behavior, pecking just straight that particular one, the green light. This happens in schools or in learning environment, education setting, when a lecturer decides to give a mark, right? A bonus mark to any student that answers a question or coming to school earlier, right? These are reinforcements, trying to ensure that encourage a particular behavior. These rewards, use of rewards, encourage the repeatedness of that behavior or the repetition of that behavior, right? That is learning by trial and error, operant conditioning, or instrumental learning. So this is operant conditioning. The principles in operant conditioning includes positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment. So in positive, when you hear the word positive, or let's say positive reinforcement, positive punishment, there is nothing like positive punishment. When I am trying to emphasize something, right? Please don't misunderstand positive punishment or you say punishment is positive. No, there is no punishment that is positive, but these are principles I will explain here now. Whenever you hear positive in this principle, in operant condition, we're talking about adding something, plus, but adding something. When you hear negative, whether reinforcement or punishment also, is meaning subtracting or removing something, removal of something. Now, when you hear reinforcement, still in this principle anyway, there is a need, there is a behavior they are encouraging. It means encouragement of behavior, while punishment simply means discouraging a behavior. Discouraging a behavior. That is how you understand it. So what is then positive reinforcement? Positive reinforcement means adding a pleasant stimulus to encourage a behavior. When you have, in this we do, maybe final year, these are therapeutic techniques. There are a lot of therapeutic techniques that are based on these principles of operant condition, just like in classical conditioning too, but it's not necessary here. So, but understanding the logic behind this principle is all we need for now, right? So positive reinforcement, when you, for example, when you tell a child, if you get the question right, I'll give you a snack. If you do your assignment, I'll give you a snack. This is encouraging a target behavior, doing assignment. And when the child do that, you reinforce. That is positive reinforcement. You are encouraging a behavior. On the other way around, negative reinforcement. You are removing something pleasant still, or unpleasant this time, to also encourage a behavior. Okay, you have not done your assignment, and you're playing game. You know what? I will cease the game. When you are done with your assignment, you will have it back. So always remember something, the target behavior. When you remove your eyes or you don't focus on the target behavior, you will make a mistake in the explanation of these principles. You will explain it otherwise, right? Now, the person has removed, or let's say the parent has removed the game. Or you tell the child, you didn't do your assignment, you know what? You ain't going out today. Please, I'm giving you a timeout. Go to your room. Right? Okay, you see, I have almost like lost the target behavior. In this situation now, I am discouraging not doing assignment because the child didn't do the assignment. And that is positive punishment. Do you see that? But if I want the child to do that, I'll say, you know what? I'm ceasing the game. You ain't going out until you do that assignment. That is negative reinforcement. I remove something pleasant the child will like to encourage the child to do the assignment. those target behavior that children doesn't like to do, like washing plate, or doing the assignments, right? In positive assignment, example I've given is timeout. Go to your room. You didn't do well today, right? That is, as psychologists, we don't encourage corporal punishments like use of cane or beating a child, right? We don't encourage that, but you see parents doing like timeout, you're not going out, you're not watching that television, right? These are to discourage the negative behavior they're expressing. Also, negative punishment, on the other hand, also is removal of something pleasant. To discourage, if I say removal of something pleasant, like I removed a game, to discourage, this time is not to encourage the child, do it and come. No, this is, you didn't do that, right? All right, you're not watching the television. All right, you're not playing this game. I'm discouraging a negative behavior. So this is it, the principle. So I will want to ask a question. Perhaps I will provide a gift for any person that gets the answer very correctly. So I will be expecting the responses in the comment box. So when you have you are moving on the road on your car and you see a driver in another car parked in the middle of the road, and then the driver is making call, just turned off the ignition and started making call and continue the call, and the second driver comes at the back, started blowing the horn, continued until the driver in the front stopped the call and turned on the ignition and moved on, or at least gave way. What are the psychological principles in operant condition that is at play here? Which kind of reinforcement or punishment is this? Let me know. Is it positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement? Is it positive punishment or negative punishment? I'll be expecting your response, and please do like, share, and please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.